Flosstube channel. I'm joining in the fray, unintended. This is a departure from what my channel used to be, way back when. My name has changed. It used to just be Maggie Ruth. It is now made by Maggie Ruth. So yeah, hi, welcome. How y'all doing? I wanted to start making videos on things that I make. Plain and simple. I make a lot of things. I sew, I quilt. Well, generally quilting involves sewing, but I also make garments. I knit. I paint. I sometimes draw. And I cross stitch. I do various types of embroidery, but primarily cross stitch and some black work mixed in there. And that's what this video is right now. It is my first foray into Flosstube. I first found out about Flosstube, I believe it was through the Fat Quarter Shop. I saw one of their videos. I had no idea what Flosstube meant. And actually, because I subscribed to that Quarter Shop, I just never really watched it. And then I had another person I, for some reason, subscribed to, who happened to be Stitcher Mel. And I started watching him like, oh, they mean like embroidery floss. Oh no. So I started watching Stitcher Mel, and then I just fell down the rabbit hole that is Flosstube. So, you know, I watched some of the usual suspects, Country Stitchers, the Priscilla and Chelsea and Priscilla, just keep stitching with sisterlies. Basically the bulk of my subscription feed has become overrun by Flosstube. And I don't necessarily see much of a problem with that. You know, I still have my random other things that I subscribe to, but the bulk of it is Flosstube. And, you know, it's kind of fun to watch and see what people create. I just enjoy seeing people make things that are beautiful to help make the world more beautiful. So there you go. So a little bit about me. As you might see by my channel name, my screen name is Maggie Ruth. My name in real life is Peggy. So, you know, that's what I go by. I actually respond to either. I've had Maggie Ruth as a screen name for 20 plus years. So it's kind of stuck with me. Don't call me Maggie though, because I probably won't respond. My name is legally Margaret, but you know, we're just not going to go into the whole how do you get Peggy out of Margaret thing. It is a question for the ages, and one I'm not going to try to answer. How I got started cross-stitching? Well, I actually, the very first time I did a cross-stitch was in Girl Scouts in 1987. And I remember this so distinctly because somewhere in my house, I have the ornament still. I cannot find the ornament right now to show you as much as I would want to, because I really, really do. But I still do have it. It is a little Santa. He's holding a list, and it has 1987 written on it. The X's are going all sorts of different ways. I backstitched before I finished cross-stitching the whole thing, not understanding that, you know, it's not like a coloring book. It's not going to help you stay in the lines. So overall, it's just generally a mess. For shits and giggles, I actually went on eBay and decided to try and find the same kit to see if, you know, oh, what are we talking, like 30 some years later, to see if, you know, how it would look now if I did it then, you know. and then type of situation. And I did actually find the kit. I have not had a chance to actually stitch it, but I do have it in my hot little hands. So one of these days I am going to stitch this. So, but yeah, it's from the New Berlin Company, Counted Cross Stitch Christmas Ornament Kit, and this is the little Santa Claus. 1900 is written on his list, so it gives you, you know, the numbers. Has the whole little kit, comes with the little plastic ornament thingy, the whole 9 yards. So I couldn't resist. I got this and 2 other little ornaments from the 80s for like $5. So who can resist nostalgia, right? Right. So that was my foray, my first foray into cross stitch. I've done other crafting and creating since around the same age. So I learned a lot of different things when I was younger. I learned how to crochet when I was 8. I learned how to hand sew starting when I was like 4. You know, so I've been doing a lot of what I do for most of my life. Cross stitch has come and gone as you know, a lot of various craft forays kind of come and go. And of course I'm a mildly obsessive individual. So when I go into something for a time, I go in just whole hog. So I have, since I really started watching Flosstube at the beginning of the year, it was just the beginning of the year, I have put quite a dent in my pocketbook. Now don't get me wrong, I've done other cross stitch before then, but I did not realize the vast array of patterns that were available. It was kind of like when I got back into crochet after not doing it for so long, and then finding out that there are all these indie dyers for yarn, and you don't just have to buy yarn at the big box store and work with Red Heart Super Saver, which, no judgment if you use Red Heart Super Saver, it's not my jam. It's the same thing. There are all these designers. There are all these different linens, hand-dyed linens, and hand-dyed Adas, and sparkly Adas, and what the hell? Ah! So, now I have a lovely little stash of overdyes and linens, and I've joined a multitude of Facebook groups, and yeah, so Flosstube, you're evil. Hi, I'm joining, I'm evil, it's all good. Welcome to, you know, whatever it's called, Dr. Evil. I cannot remember the name of that. Dr. Horrible, and that thing that he was trying to join. Somebody help me out. Remind me what the name of that thing was. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Anybody? Please. So what I wanted to do, besides, you know, tell you a little bit about myself, is I also wanted to give you a bit of a WIP Parade. A little bit more about me before I do the WIP Parade, though. I do live in the tiny and very densely populated state of New Jersey. I'm not from New Jersey. I always add that caveat. I am actually from Wisconsin, but I have lived in New Jersey for 10 years. So, as my therapist says, you're a Jersey girl now. And I've gotten really used to other people pumping my gas, but I still don't like it. But I do love Wawa. Wawa is my jam. I live actually in the capital of New Jersey, so there's your little geography quiz for the day. I live just over the river from PA. I am literally one exit and a bridge from Pennsylvania. So my local needle shops, which I didn't know I had until I decided to Google embroidery shops. I have two. One of them's a little bit further. That is Nimble Needle down in Merchantville. I've been there a couple times. And I have a cat coming up to visit me. Hello! The proprietress is lovely. She and I had a great conversation. Hi. This is RBG, also known as Ruth Bader Ginsburg, also known as an asshole. Get down. Ow. And she hurt me. Ow. The other local needle shop I have is Ye Old Cross Stitchery in Bristol, PA. I actually live closer to that. So for those of you who are familiar with the geography of New Jersey and Pennsylvania, that kind of gives you an idea of where I am in proximity to things. So I have, spent a good few visits to both Nimble Needle and Ye Old Cross Stitchery, and my cat is destroying one of my whips. Excuse me. And we're back. She's gonna be the death of me. She's 3 years old. Not even 3 years old. So she's basically just an asshole. I think she's cute. Anyway, so those are my local needle shops. I have spent a goodly sum of money there in the past 2 months, along with other various online places. And yeah, so now I need to actually produce stuff, right? At least that's generally the idea. Lord knows I have enough yarn stash to basically fund my retirement. At least that's what it feels like. It's probably not true, but at the very least, if the zombie apocalypse happens, I'll be warm. I don't honestly know that I can say the same thing for a stash of hand-dyed linens and overdyed floss, but it can make things pretty. So I wanted to run you through some of the WIPs that I have, give you a little bit of a WIP parade. I do actually have a finished object that I need to figure out how I'm going to FFO, which is a phrase, what? All these things I learned. FFO, finished object, and FFO. These things you learn, Flosstube, you beautiful thing, you. It's all good. Oh my lord, stop it! So, I do actually have a finished object, and I have cat hair in my face. So, excuse me. But I saw this on the Flosstube. I'm going to start calling it the Flosstube, the diabetes or the Ukraine. Neither of which is the diabetes or the Ukraine. It's just diabetes and Ukraine. Tangent. Thank you. I saw on the Instagram, which, by the way, you can follow me there at Maggie Ruth, MAGGYRUTH. I'll put it down below in the description box, thingy-babobber. And oh my god, my cat is going to fall off the little half wall and kill herself, or break a leg, or something. And dear Lord have mercy. Oh. Anyway, I saw this on Instagram. Yes, you get down. I saw this on Instagram and I just fell in love with it, and I ordered it. I believe it's called an online shop called Frog and Stitch. Excuse me, just a second while I kill my cat, and we're back. It's Suffrajack though. It's a Suffrajack by Little House Needleworks, and I joined in on the Stitching with the Sisterlies Sal that was going on, and let me tell you, I got this and I went to a ye old cross stitchery for the first time, and I kitted this up and I started stitching it that same day, and I finished it in 2 weeks, which for me on a project is fast. In case you can't tell, I have a brace on this wrist. I should have a brace on this hand. So, you know, I'm hypermobile. It's a thing. Stuff, arthritis. But regardless, anyway, so, you know, I had to take breaks and the pinching. So I become obsessed and I just like fall down that rabbit hole and I just get into things. But anyway, so I did finish this. I did make some changes. I used gray Picture This Plus 28 count linen in dapple. For some reason I just really wanted this on a gray, and I just think it looks really nice. I did switch out a couple of things because I wanted to include the colors that were used in the actual suffrage movement, the women's suffrage movement here in the United States. So I swapped out the colors that were used for this line up here and this line here, as well as the suffragette sash. I used Argyle sock and fool's gold in the place there, and the sash is also Argyle socks. Because if you are unaware, the colors of the suffrage, women's suffrage movement in the United States were purple, white, and gold, as opposed to the purple, white, and green of the women's suffrage movement in Britain. And the green was swapped out with the gold or yellow, what have you, because of the sunflower that was used as the movement's flower. History lesson for the day. You're welcome. But again, this celebrates this year being 2020 being 100 years of white women being given the vote. So there you go. And I'm planning just on lacing this to a board somehow and framing it. I don't know how to do any of that, so YouTube is going to be my guide. If anybody has a suggestion on a particularly good tutorial, please let me know. I will greatly appreciate it. But that's a finished object I have that I'm very proud of, and I think it turned out beautifully. And there are foibles here and there, but I don't care. I think it's great. So, okay, are we ready for our WIP Parade? That is really, really hard to say. Just an FYI, if you haven't said it before. WIP Parade. Anywho, let me start with my oldest WIP that I found, because I want you to tell me what is wrong with it. Now this is going on probably 20 years old. No, not quite that old, 15 years old. 15 years old. It is from a Dimensions kit. I found the cloth, I have the thread, I managed to find the pattern. And this is how far I've gotten on it. Now, take a look at this and let me know if you can see what's wrong with it. I'll give you a minute. Well, not quite a minute. I'll give you a few seconds. Can you tell me? Anybody? Bueller? Yeah. I totally stitched it upside down. So if I actually want to complete this, I need to rip out all the stitching, which is fine because I also realized that pretty sure that I only used one thread when I should have been using two. So yeah, it's kind of a hot mess, but you know, it's kind of cool when you can find stuff that you had sitting around forever. And this is, you know, this, like I said, this is part of it. It was a Dimensions kit. If anybody's interested, if I can read this, it's Dimensions kit circa 2000. I didn't buy it in 2000, I don't think. I might have. So it might be 20 years old. I don't remember exactly how old I was when I bought it. Regardless. And it's number 35034. I don't remember the name of it exactly, but you know, it all came in the kit. Like I said, I didn't have the pattern, but I did manage to find it because the number is printed on here. So I could search the internet. The internet's a wonderful thing. So this is my oldest. My next oldest isn't nearly as old as this. It is actually from, I want to say 2014, maybe? And it is one of Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery's first yearly sales. And it is a wrinkled mess. But it is their Once Upon a Time sal. And as you can see, I got January, February, March, May, and June. I didn't do April. During this, if this was in 2014, which I'm pretty sure it was, I was just finishing up my bachelor's degree. I went back as a non-traditional student. I went to Rutgers, RU-rah-rah. And so I was just finishing up my bachelor's degree and looking for a job and starting grad school. So I got busy and sidetracked, and I could not tell you what fabric this is. I'm pretty sure, well, I know that I bought it at like AC Moore. I don't know, it's got a stain on it, which is lovely. I think it's like the Charles Craft something or another, but it was what I could afford, and it's all DMC, except for one of my friends had some Kreinik, so like I made the mirror. You can't really, you can see it a little bit. Mirror, a little sparkly in Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, and what I just want to show you this. So like, because this giggled me no end. I always thought, or at least the way mine turned out, one of the little dwarfs on the back looks like one of the dudes from ZZ Top. Anyway, so that's my second oldest WIP. All the rest of them have been started within the last year. Told you, I'm kind of obsessive. So, next is some black work. So, I've I don't have a ton, I mean, I have a ton of patterns, don't get me wrong, but the ones that I've started are from Peppermint Purple, and this is all my friend Ruth's fault from knitting. But so right now I have started, this is eventually going to be the state of Wisconsin, eventually, and it's just on, I think this is, looks like 14 count Ada. Again, the Charles craft that you can find in any big box store. Other major black work piece, if you want to call it major, is the Purple Pumpkin Pie Eater. Purple Pumpkin Pie Eater from Peppermint Pete, something like that. No. Peppermint Purple, her Sal, that she's running for free, in Facebook, on the Facebook. You can just join the group. I will try and remember to put a link. I'm a couple of weeks behind. I think I'm 2 weeks behind. So I have through week 8 done, and I have some of the border. And this is like, for some reason, this piece of Ada just has attracted cat hair and fuzz like it's nobody's business. So this is what that's looking like. I'm using all of the colors that she's suggested. She's doing basically a gradient, which I think is kind of cool. So it's going to go all the way through, like, not quite, it's not in Roy G. Biv order, but it's goes red, pink, purple, blue, green, yellow, if I recall correctly. So it's going to be really pretty, and there's just something very meditative about black work if you've never done any. It's just particularly like when it's a very symmetrical pattern, you can memorize it pretty easily, and you're just going back and forth and back and forth. It's really kind of lovely. All right, next up is I have a thing for Sal's. I don't always stay caught up, in case you can't figure that out, or start them right away, because, I didn't know about them. So, Frosted Pumpkin Start Tree got me again, and I did join in this year's, the 2020, the Animal Almanac. So I only have Rennie, and I can't find the floss for the shower cap, so it's somewhere in my house, but it's on some Picture This Plus 28 count. I can't remember the name of the colorway. I have it downstairs, and I meant to grab it, and I forgot. So, sorry, but I'm using all the called for DMC on this, including some, it has 2 étoiles. I believe that's how you say that. So I worked on this actually quite a bit. My partner and I went on vacation to Universal Studios last month, and so this is what I worked on at night while I was icing my knee from walking around. When you're getting 10,000 steps in by 10 o'clock in the morning, and you are hypomobile and you have bad knees. Yeah. So, next Sal. These are just the ones I started. It doesn't count the ones that I've signed up for that I haven't started, because there's the Carol Manning Year of Bouquets that I haven't started. I have all the thread for it, but I haven't started it. This is my start for the Linen and Things 2020 I just have a small part, and I just love using one thread or one color thread and using the variegated. I'm using, and it's driving me a little bit batty because I couldn't find the name of the fabric. It's a 28 count piece. It's 28 pound. I believe it's a Lugana, but I'm just blanking on it, and I couldn't find my documentation for it. But I'm using the Threadworks color. It's 1158. It's grapes, something grapes or grapes something, and my favorite color is purple, so this is just like totally my jam, and it's going to be really, really pretty. So I'm very excited about that. Fun little piece I started. I've seen this in my local quilt shop. I saw it on Fat Quarter Shop, and I bit the bullet and I bought it. It's So She Did by Lori Holt. And this is where I am on it. Using the called for DMC, and this is a 10 count. 10 count Ada. Betsy Ross, I believe, is the name. Something like that. It was that was on the package that I picked up from Yo Cross Stitchery. It's really kind of interesting because this uses you use like 4 strands on 10 count, which I've never done before. So that's fun. This is another thing that I've had like forever, but I just started it because I was like, what the hell, let's go, just whatever. So I've had this for ages. It was on clearance at Michael's like 20 years ago. If you remember, anybody remembers these. They don't make them anymore. You can find them on eBay sometimes. But, you know, have this. And this is where I am. Yes, I cut out the middle already. I got bored. So this is where I am on it. I'm basically, so this is a better way to show it. I need to fill in the green here and then a bunch of half stitches and then put it all together. So finish that up. I am participating, although I haven't posted about it, in Erin or Two Martini Stitchers Lucky Birthday Sal. A while ago somebody had mentioned owl forest embroidery, and I actually ordered a couple of kits from their site. So they came from Russia, which I'd never had something come from Russia before. So, you know, hey, since I wasn't home when they tried to deliver it, I had to go home and I had to go to the post office and pick it up because you have to sign for it. But if you have never gotten a kit from them, I just have to say, I mean, I really appreciate the thoroughness of this kit and how it's put together. I mean, number one, the box is just like this perfect little thing. It comes with the linen, so this is the one I'm doing, FYI. So this is King Thistle. I know Erin mentioned that she's going to do, was it Duke Shamrock? She's Irish. I'm Scottish, so there you go. Anyway, so like this one comes with the, so I got fabric, it's Belfast 32 count. It comes with their hand-dyed floss. It's on DMC, Kreinik. The needle, comes with a needle minder. And their charts. I mean, I can't show it to you, but it's on, so for those of us in the US, we don't, you know, use like A3 size paper, but it's a good size. But the other thing that I appreciate, aside from the fact that it has like the whole chart, they also take the little individual segments of the chart and they break them down into just little segments. So like if you're just working on part and you want to have them cut out, you can do that and just take that little part with you. It's really kind of cool. But then all the floss comes with like a little bobbin like this, and this is the symbol for this particular color. It's just really, really thorough, and I really appreciate it. And this is where I am with it, and you can see too the needle minder that comes with, which I just think is beautiful. I have a thing for thistles. I have a tattoo of one on my arm, so I'm not very far, but I have to do, because of the over-dyed nature and just the real variegation in these, I'm trying to remember to stitch English, so slower going. So there's that one. I have 2 more left. I just started this one today, and I'm actually having quite a bit of work for it. But this is letters from Nora, letter G. This is the fairy Gwendolyn, and I'm actually stitching this for my niece, whose name happens to be Gwendolyn, for her birthday in June, so I actually have a deadline. And I am stitching it. You can see part I got done. Yeah, I know I'm bad. I stuck the needle in there, but I was frustrated. But this is a piece of 16 count pale green Ada opalescent. You can see the sparkles in there, from Be Stitch Me, that I got in one of her Friday night fight clubs. It was actually last week's, because it just came in the mail yesterday. I'm also going to be doing the letter R for my other niece, and I'll be using another piece of Be Stitch Me in another, excuse my big face, but this piece, I kind of want to try and focus on using this part, because my other niece's favorite color is pink. But regardless, I'm finding that I'm having more problems than I thought with the sparkles. And I think it might be more of a lighting issue, because I started this, the lighting wasn't the greatest, so I think if I do it in better lighting, I think it might help. So we'll try that. And then my last piece that I'm working on right now, it's going to be part of a set that I already have all kitted up. But I'm working on Hello Spring by Plum Street Samplers. And I also have Hello Summer, Hello Fall, and Hello Winter. I have those all kitted up and ready to go. My goal is I put them like on a wood sign that I can hang on my door so I can change them out. And this is where I am. I'm using the DMC conversion instead of the Classic Colorworks, right? Yeah, Classic Colorworks. I'm using the DMC for it instead. And this particular piece is on R&R 32 count in vintage gray. So having fun with that. I cut the piece how big I needed it, because so I had, was like what, 13 by whatever, 13 by 18. So I cut it in half, and like this half is spring, then the other half of it'll be summer, and then I have another piece of R&R, I believe it's winter something, and and half of each of those will be fall, and the other half will be winter. So that's about all I have. I wanted to, say hello, how you doing, and get things going, give you a WIP parade, and just join in the fun. I have some pre-orders from Nashville Needlework. I mean, that's how badly I have fallen down the Flosstube hole. I actually even have pre-orders from Nashville, and I didn't even know what it was like a month ago. I have problems. So, if you want to say hi, I hope you do down below. Maybe subscribe. I'm hoping to make updates probably twice a month or so, show how things are. I'm also hoping, like I said earlier, to make other videos on things that I make. Like I said, I sew a lot, both quilting and garments. So you might see random dresses and quilts and possibly paintings, who knows? You just never know. But I will definitely make sure to label any Flosstube as Flosstube, so that you, if that's all you're interested in, you'll know what to watch. So thanks for watching, and have a great and creative day.